Ladies and gentlemen, welcome wrestling fans worldwide to Knoxville and the Great Smoky Mountains for the Ron Fuller, Tennessee Studcast.
6 feet 9 inches tall, 265 pounds.
This historic podcast from one of the most respected and successful wrestlers and promoters will follow the footsteps of the largest and oldest wrestling family on the planet.
Listen to what I'm saying. That's right. Bring that camera in here a little bit closer.
Through 93 years and 4 generations.
The stud has arrived.
Old school or new fan, this unique broadcast will educate and captivate as Ron details decades of professional wrestling's growth with truly unforgettable stories.
I want those people out there at home to hear the stud.
Sit back and enjoy the ride with the Tennessee Stud.
The Tennessee Stud. You will learn that name. You will remember it.
And now,
the stud is here.
Hey everybody, welcome in. It's David Summers, and here comes another Studcast with the Tennessee Stud, Ron Fuller. This is the story of wrestling in America as told by the Stud, whose family started the profession over 100 years ago. So now, let's step back into the ring. Let's step back into time. Let's get wall-to-wall, treetop tall with the Tennessee Stud, Ron Fuller. Hey, Ron, what's going on in your world?
Oh, geez, man. I got a little bit of a cloudy day today, but it's been beautiful here. And we've been really enjoying the weather. Really nice.
It seems like in southeast Alabama, the rain has come, and it might stay for a while. We get a little bit of rain at least every day. We got a real good shower yesterday, so there's not. You know what? There's nothing we can do about that.
Yeah, man.
Not a thing.
Within anybody and within each life, for some rain must fall, I think they say.
I think that is the truth. All right, listen, Stud, I tell you, it's been amazing what response you've gotten already from fans around the world to part one of your historic story about the first in 1958 of 2 matches between your father, Buddy Fuller, whose real name was Edward Welch. I don't think I knew that until I just saw this. And Mario Galento. All right, in just 2 matches, this is incredible. They drew an astounding 50,000 fans or more in only 2 matches. All right, so how are you planning to do this Studcast about the second of those historic matches?
Well, I'm going to start, man, with this Studcast by finishing the second match, which was in June of 1965 between Galento and my father. And then we're going to cover the next Southeastern event on the Tennessee Stud Streaming.com channel. And that's going to be the matches and the TV in the 3rd week of May 1981. And boy, this one is loaded with videos. So I think we better, Dave, just dive right into the second huge event with my father against Mario. Mm-hmm. And it took place in Atlanta, home of the Georgia Territory, 7 years after their first match, and 400 miles away from Mobile, Alabama, as close as I could figure. And these 2 matches, they both had a few things in common. My father was the owner of the Mobile Territory and part owner of the Georgia Territory when these 2 matches took place. Both wrestlers in the match were the same, obviously, my dad against Galento. The referees, however, were both 2 former world boxing champions, Joe Louis in that Alabama match and Rocky Marciano in the Georgia match.
Wow.
So the wrestlers were going to do something in both of those matches that was rarely, if ever, done before. And basically, they were going to beat the heck out of each other, beat each other senseless, and leave a massive crowd stunned.
Wow.
So in that 7 years since the first match with Galento, my father had moved us to several different territories. First, we left Mobile in 1958, went to Memphis to take over that territory. My dad took it over. Then he moved us to a farm in Mississippi after that. Then he moved us to Phoenix, Arizona to take over that territory. And then finally, he moved us to Atlanta and became half owner there. So all 3 of those territories were practically dead when he arrived, but boy, they were booming when he sold out of them.
Okay, so it seems like you were raised in a military family. Let me see if I got this. You lived in Alabama, Tennessee, Mississippi, Arizona, and Georgia in a 7-year period of time.
That's correct, man. I mean, it wasn't easy being the son of a wrestler, man, or owner of wrestling companies.
Right.
So when we arrived in Georgia in 1964, that territory, like the others that I spoke of, Memphis and Arizona as well, it was in a really bad shape.
Okay, so when you say bad shape, exactly, I mean, what do you mean by that, bad shape?
Well, it means Atlanta, basically, with a population of well over 1 million people in 1964, was drawing less than 1,000 fans to their downtown municipal auditorium every Friday night in a building that held over 7,000 people. So think about how empty that building had to look, Dave. I mean, 1,000 fans in 7,000 people arena.
Yeah.
And as a comparison, we were putting 5,000 fans in Dothan's building in 1980s, and Dothan's population was only 75,000.
Wow. All right, so 1,000 people in a building made to hold 7,000. So I can definitely see why you would call that a dead wrestling city. You had Dothan drawing 5 times more than Atlanta when your father took it over in 1964. So where does Mario Galento come into this story?
Well, Galento came into the story right after we moved to Atlanta, when my father brought with him his regular crew, I called them, of stars that followed him everywhere he went after Mobile. And he had already built both the Memphis and the Arizona territories with these guys, basically from nothing into giant moneymakers, man. Almost overnight, within a year, never more than 2 years it took him to get these things really cranked up. So it was time basically for him to work the miracle again in Atlanta in 1964. And he brought in Mario Galento, among other heels, and spent a year developing Mario into a top heel. And that same year, he was developing himself into a star babyface. So the crowds began to grow dramatically, and in less than a year, those 1,000 fans turned into 7,000, and the city was having a hard time getting 1,000 fans in a building a year earlier, was now full every Friday night. So, and that's basically when the angle in Georgia started between my father and Mario. No one except the wrestling people knew my father was part owner of the wrestling company there, but they were all aware that we lived on a ranch about 30 miles outside Atlanta in a little city called Griffin, and that my dad owned some great horses. He was real proud of his horses, and he liked to show pictures of his horses on TV, and and fans really, really got into that type of stuff. Mario, he wasn't a horse fan, I can say that.
Okay.
And then he always kept himself, though, in tremendous shape, and on TV, he started to focus on my father, who was at that point the Georgia champion. And Galento was bad-mouthing him on every TV show, saying things like, he said, my father, he said, Buddy Fuller's just out of shape. He says, because he's all he's doing is riding horses. And he said, and I remember how he put it, he said, riding horses is great for the horse, but it doesn't do a damn thing for the rider. And he said, my father, he accused my father of avoiding giving him a championship match because he knew he couldn't beat Galento, even knew he was going to lose. So the insults kept coming until finally they had a match for the belt. And Galento won. And my brother and I, we were devastated. We couldn't believe our father had lost, but we were very pleased to see him suddenly get serious about getting into top shape. Because, Mario's remark made a little sense, right? So on TV, after the loss of the belt, my father challenged Galento to a return match for the belt. But he asked for 1 month from the date of the challenge that he made on TV that day to train and to get himself in top shape. So I remember Galento's interview right after my father made the challenge. Galento said he would be glad. Came out, he said he would be glad to wait 30 days for my father to get in shape. And he said, when Buddy Fuller does get in shape after the 30 days, he said, I'm in good enough shape that I'm going to run from Atlanta to Griffin, Georgia, which was 30 miles, and whip his ass and run back to Atlanta.
Whoa, wait, Ron. He said that on TV? I mean...
Yeah, they didn't bleep it. They missed it, couldn't bleep it. And he got to save my dad's ass. He's going to whip my dad's ass and run back to Atlanta after he did it.
That was pretty shocking back in the day, I must say. All right, so I knew there had to be some nasty feelings between these two. So, all right, so what came next, Ron?
Well, they really started, that just really started a fire in my dad. And, he went on TV the next week and he announced he was going to begin to train in a wrestling ring that was in the Atlanta office. And that Atlanta was a huge, big city at that time. And they had a really nice office. In fact, they had a little arena in a nightclub there. And they had a wrestling ring back of that arena. So, and then he gave everybody right then the address of where this arena was. And he invited anyone that thought they were tough or that they could beat a wrestler to come down to the wrestling office anytime between noon and 3 o'clock every weekday for the next month to wrestle him. And he was going to use the Georgia fans, basically, to help him get in shape for the big championship match to regain his belt in June of 1965.
Wow. Okay.
When McGlinto heard that, he came to the set immediately, and he said he wanted to change the match from a wrestling match to a 10-round boxing match, and he wanted his uncle, Spider Galinto, to be in his corner during the fight.
Okay. I don't recall Spider Galinto. So when you just said that, I went, huh? Wait, what? All right. So this is getting crazy, Stud. Did Mario have a background in boxing?
Well, let me give you a little Spider's background. Spider was a great old timer. He was a tremendous shooter. He was very small. He probably weighed less than 180 pounds, but wow, he knew how to deal with people, and he was very, very good. He was actually probably a tougher opponent than Galento was, maybe. But so Galento had always kind of kept Spider in the background, but he had to, he had no idea. So Spider was going to be involved in this deal, and so my dad heard what he announced, So and I had no idea whether or not Dad had any experience. I mean, I had no idea what Mario had any experience as a fighter. I couldn't understand why he wanted to have a boxing match rather than a wrestling match, but I knew my dad had some boxing experience, and he trained as a boxer because my grandfather refused to allow him to be a wrestler. So Dad started training as a boxer. He was going to become a boxer rather than a wrestler. So as soon as Galento made that announcement and left the set, my father went back to the set. And he said that he didn't care. He'd fight him or he'd wrestle him for the belt. It didn't make him any difference. But he said, but since Galento had Spider in his corner, he said, I want to pick the referee for the boxing match.
Okay.
And there was a great guy, I can't remember his name, great commentator on the Atlanta wrestling show, and he was like, "Wow, who you want to handle it?" And my dad said, "I want my friend Rocky Marciano, the former undefeated world boxing champion, to be the referee."
Oh, okay. You got friends like that. So, okay. So that studio, it had to have exploded along with the fans watching at home. That was a pretty big announcement, it seems like.
Oh, yeah. So that championship wrestling match that was certain to be a sellout in the auditorium that had 7,000 seats, man, that instantly turned into one of the biggest wrestling events in history, potentially, right? But wasn't going to be able to do that in the auditorium, and you weren't going to be able to hold all the fans that Dad was anticipating. So, my father chose to take this match to the Ponce de Leon baseball stadium, which at that point was the biggest baseball stadium in Atlanta for the match. Actually, I don't think the Braves came there until the next year and went into the big stadium that they had made for the Braves. So Dad found the biggest baseball stadium in Atlanta at that point, and he said, we're going to take this match to the baseball stadium.
Wow. Okay. All right, so how many people did it hold, and how did those training matches with the Georgia wrestling fans go?
Well, it was the summer, man, of my third year in high school, and we had a wrestling ring in one of our barns on the ranch here, and we always had a ring. In fact, we'd had a ring the year before we moved there at the place we lived that year, and then there had already been shoot training with the wrestler named Charlie Carr for more than a year. And he was the wrestler that trained my father. And he also trained most of the Southern wrestlers from my father's generation, to be, as a matter of fact, the Fields. Some of the greatest wrestlers in history were trained by a guy named Charlie Carr. My father took me with him every day. When he started going to the place I'd been training, and but I hadn't been wrestling anybody much other than Charlie Carr. But my dad had a feeling that I was ready, and so he took me with him every day for that month, and I shot with the guys that were too small for him to get in the ring with. I mean, and every day there was a line of guys, people, men, waiting to get in the ring with my old man.
All right. Wow.
And then there were some, they weren't all big guys,
right,
and
right.
So, and Dad couldn't wrestle all of them because there were too many of them, and I guess he had already thought about this. And so he had me wrestle the smaller guys.
Okay. All right. You would have been like 17 years old, and you were wrestling grown men like 5 days a week for an entire month.
Yeah. And it was one of the greatest things that could have ever happened to me, man. I mean, it built my confidence. Every guy I beat, built my confidence. And, and I was still, like you say, I was just a kid, man. And basically skin and bones. I weighed less than 200 pounds. But I soon realized during that month that I could beat almost anybody, man. And I think it was that year that I decided to definitely become a wrestler myself.
All right, that is probably a great story in and of itself. So what was the size of the crowd the night of the big match?
Well, I say this, it was far beyond anything that was expected. I mean, the traffic was backed up for miles on one of the biggest streets in Atlanta. In fact, the Ponce de Leon baseball stadium was directly across the street from the Sears and Roebuck National Headquarters. Right, so there was lots of parking. It was a mob. I mean, matches had to be held up for almost an hour after start time, supposedly start time, to get as many of the fans into the stadium as possible. Thousands were standing on the grass. The field had 5,000 ringside seats on it, and the field behind them was full halfway out to the walls of the baseball outfield.
Wow.
With thousands more. And then on top of all that, thousands had to be turned away when the crowd finally got in there. There was no fire marshals, obviously. I don't know that the fire marshals knew about this match, unless they were a fan. So I don't know, but my estimation was 25,000 at least, but it could have been far more than that.
That had to be just an incredible sight. So all right, Stud, I think it's time for the match. And Rocky Marciano, the undefeated world boxing champion, is refereeing this match, this long-awaited match between your father and Mario Galento. And this is for the Georgia Heavyweight Championship. You want to set the match up for us? Tell us what happened.
Okay, so I got to see this one. I didn't get to go to the Mobile one because I was much younger, obviously, and it's probably a good thing. I wouldn't have been able to handle it at that point, being probably, I would think I was about 9 years old when that first match took place. So I got to go to this match and not just hear about what I'd been told that happened in that first one in Mobile. That neither man won that first one. So Spider Galento, during the course of this match, he made a real mistake. He wasn't really respecting Rocky Marciano. First two or three rounds, I think it was the first two rounds, he kind of got in Marciano's face after the round was over. And I'm like, wow. And I was lucky to sit up in top of this baseball stadium, in a box by myself and watch this whole match. Pretty amazing scene. And obviously, I could see the entire field and everything.
Wow.
So it was a remarkable event. So so first couple of rounds, like I said, Spider took advantage of a little bit of advantage of Rocky, and then after the third round, Spider got right in his face, and wow, that shouldn't happen. I mean, so the fans got to see the champ's quick hands, man. He knocked Spider Galento from the middle of the ring. He went flying backwards through the ropes between the second and the top rope and landed almost in the front row out there in the dirt, the baseball field.
Wow.
And they had to stretcher him out, man, to the fans' delight. They hauled him out of there on the stretcher. So, by this, this time my father, but in this match, my father bled a lot more than Mario. And that wasn't the case in the first match. And those pictures that I've been running a lot that showed Mario after that first match showed how, he had, gosh, he must have had at least 10 or 12 cuts on his face that required stitches, or would have. Some of them he never even got sewed back up.
Wow! Wow!
So so this time my father ended up getting busted, and so did Mario. Both of them were bleeding again, kind of like the last one. It was still a shoot, man, and everything they did, was for real. And this time though, my father won.
Okay, good deal. So I asked in the last Studcast a question that you said you would answer in this one. And I think what I asked was if you had ever seen anything like these two events anywhere at any time in your wrestling career. And was what your father and Mario Galento did, was what those two put together, was it worth it?
Yeah, I recall. I didn't have enough time to answer it in the last one, and basically, the answer to me is pretty simple. I wrestled a lot of places in the world, and I never saw anything anywhere like this. I mean, these two matches were a totally different animal. I mean, there's just nobody was doing it. No, I don't think anybody anywhere in the country, and there was wrestling all over the country and all over the world, were doing this type of thing. Basically, the two of them brutally beat each other intentionally to make a statement that sometimes wrestling was really real. And so, that's basically kind of how it happened. And then, And as far as the what whether it was worth it or not, well, I kind of look at it this way, that 50,000 people or more, and I think there could have definitely been more than 50,000. I think Mobile's house was in the football stadium, 35,000 at least, and
Wow.
And this one was at least 25, and so they were huge crowds, and that 50 or 60,000 people that witnessed those two matches, they were part of the two largest crowds to ever see wrestling matches in the southern United States. Nobody ever after this time period had crowds that size. And
Wow.
each one of those crowds, each one of those matches definitely left, and every one of those people that came to see it, I think every one of them definitely left there knowing that what they had seen was real. So,
Wow.
So those two territories, one on the Gulf Coast and one in Georgia, after those two matches, remained two of the best territories in the world for years and years. And I bet, some fans, they still tell the story of it.
Wow. I tell you what, this has been an amazing Studcast so far, Ron. A story like no other. So let's go forward now as you take us to the third week in May of 1981 and introduce the Southeastern card for that week. The TV show promoting it was full of videos. All right, so for all of our new fans who have never seen any videos from this particular time frame we're talking about, I think you're going to really dig this. You're really going to love this a lot.
Well, the opening match on this card was a special challenge event. It had two wrestlers in a single match. Both of those wrestlers were going to be coming back again in the same night, wrestling in the tag match, which was going to be the last match of the night. And that was going to be Brad Armstrong wrestling against Dennis Condrey.
Okay, so, I got to ask you before you go any farther, why was this match even scheduled since those two were going to be in the tag match later?
That's a real good question, right? So Dennis Condrey had made a challenge earlier in the week when this championship tag match was first booked. And obviously, I think he was hopeful of somehow getting Brad in the ring for the very first match and hurting him before the tag match ever happened, which was going to be later in the night. And I guess if that had happened, that would have meant that Bob would either have to defend the tag belts by himself or either forfeit the belts and just give them to Condrey and Rose without even having to wrestle him.
Well, without a doubt, Condrey and Rose were truly a diabolical team. So who was in the second match?
It was for the United States Junior Heavyweight Championship. The champion, Stan Lane, was going to be defending against the newcomer, Mr. Olympia. Then there was Jimmy Golden's $5,000 bounty match, with Jimmy hopefully going to get somebody to take on Rob, one of the wrestlers or somebody out of the crowd. He didn't care who wrestled Rob, but he was going to give him $5,000 if they could put him in the hospital. But it ended up having to be Jimmy that wrestled Rob because he couldn't get anybody to take his place. So that was for the $5,000 match. Then Ken Lucas was then defending his Southeastern Championship belt against Masa Saito. And he had beaten Masa Saito for the Alabama belt the week before. The next to last match was the Texas Bull Rope match between Ron Bass and Ron Fuller, Tennessee Stud. The last match of the night was for the Southeastern Tag Championships. Bob and Brad had won the rematch the week before after Condrey and Rose injured the Shadow. And those people that listened to the last Studcast, they pile-drived him on the concrete on the television show. And then Bob had to take the Shadow's place in the upcoming return match with Condrey and Rose, and that's where the Armstrongs won the belts. So who knew what was going to happen in this one?
All right, so that was a great card. 2 special challenge matches, a bull rope match, 3 championship matches. So how did the TV show promoting this card get started? How did this thing kick off?
Well, we're going to jump right into this TV show, man, because Dave, this one is loaded. We're going to have more videos than this one that we have since we started doing these that have videos in them. So our first video going to take place just a few seconds into this show.
All right, so our producer Brian is going to open up this TV show, and here we go.
First of all, we'd like to congratulate the new Southeastern Tag Team Champions, Bob and Brad Armstrong. Welcome back.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here, and especially a pleasure to wear these belts. You know, Brad and I went through the very devil, all kind of types of matches. I got strung up like a side of beef, made me 2 inches taller on the left side. But one thing about it, we did end up with the belts. Condrey and Rose are crying about it. They held the belts for a long time, Charlie. But Brad and I'd like to be the same kind of champions. We'd like to hold these belts for a long time, because when you go through that much to get something like this little fella right here means an awful lot to us, and we certainly appreciate your congratulations. Thank you.
And how's that leg doing, Bob?
Well, I will say this. You know, Condrey and Rose they're going to be picking on this leg, no doubt about it. The leg's still a little bit stiff, but I wrap it good, and I put a small brace under it, and I know they'll be going for the weak link. But one thing about it, when they're going for that leg, they're going to have an opening somewhere, and they could just mess up real bad and get beat again.
Bob Armstrong, congratulations to you, Brad, one half of the Southeastern Tag Team Champions. A different situation now with the Armstrongs champions of the tag team title holders here in the Southeastern Wrestling area. Coming up.
Man, I tell you what, that's a great way to open a show, introducing the new tag team champions. So what was coming next?
Well, the first TV match of the day, and that was Big Ron Bass going to be taking on Roy Lee Welch, with Bass's big fan, Jimmy Golden, joining Charlie Platt at the set.
And our unseen producer, Brian, is going to do his thing. Here it is.
Introducing at 224 pounds from the state of Oklahoma, Roy Welch. His opponent at 290 pounds from Pampa, Texas, Ron Bass. Your ring official is Bruce Fortson, one fall with a 10-minute television time on our opening match today here on Southeastern Championship Wrestling. Coming over to join us briefly is a gentleman who is now in a lot of tag team action with Mr. Bass, Jimmy Golden.
Yeah, and I've got a lot of things I'd like to say about it, because you've got plenty of room there, Charlie Platt. Don't let me get in your way now. Mr. Bass, first of all, the big, strong man, about 275 pounds, good wrestler like myself, always abides by the rules, and when it comes right down to it, comes to punching, he has got the best punch of all. We like to call it the heart punch. He's got a good, strong punch. He's a heavy man, and when he throws that weight into it, into the solar plexus, I'm talking about Charlie Platt, a heart punch, it's candy bar the door. That's what it is.
That heart punch you're referring to, Jimmy, was first perfected and made famous by a man wrestling in the New York area, Stan Stasiak. And I'll admit, Ron Bass has perfected that move and has been using it quite a bit in the last couple of weeks for our victories here in the southeastern area.
That's right. I don't know how good Stasiak was with it, but I can tell you one thing. When the big man Bass hits you with it, I've seen it for myself. He can flat lay you out. You're going to be gasping for air. And if little punk Roy Lee Welch ain't careful, he's liable to get a little taste of it.
Arm twist and drag by Bass. Good reversal by Roy Welch. This our opening match on Southeastern Championship Wrestling. In the next hour, a lot of action coming your way, including the television main event.
One thing I'd like to say about Roy Welch, he's kin to all them Welches and the Fullers and the Hatfields. They're all pretty good wrestlers, you know. They're good wrestlers. Think they're good boys. They got an evil mind, though. And they're not quite as good as Golden and Bass. We're just a little bit above their class. Welch is a good wrestler, but I don't think he's in the league with Bass. Do you, Charlie Platt?
I wouldn't know about that side headlock right now, controlling the situation, and it's being administered by Roy Welch. Bass going for that leg. Welch clamps down on the pressure again.
Welch is doing good to hold on to this headlock as long as he is, because with the power that Bass has got, I believe he could pick him up any time.
Ron Bass, a powerful man, and at 290 pounds, he is one to be contended with in that ring.
Right, just like myself, Jimmy Golden, brother. He's on top. He is at the top of the ladder.
Something else you would put in the qualifications in the plus column for Ron Bass as a professional wrestler, a man for his size, he can move around that ring with
He's like a cat. He can be very good for his size. The man is in the gym like myself all the time, working out with weights, running, stretching, doing everything that you need to do to be a professional wrestler, to stay in shape, condition. That's the name of the game. Me and Bass are in condition. Roy Lee's got a little pot gut on him, I see. Little skinny legs, and he ain't hardly in the shape I am.
head scissors by Bass. Welch moves his way out. Good takedown, and comes up again with that side headlock on the big man from Texas.
The only thing that Welch has got going for him right now is he's a little bit faster than Bass. He's got the speed on him just a little bit, but the strength, the know-how, and the ability is going to tell the tale in the end.
Welch.
Come on, Ron, take it down.
With that headlock, applying the pressure.
You ain't doing nothing, Puke.
Good
See the
right
legal
connection
move there?
by Roy Welch.
Was that a fist? Was that a fist I saw, Charlie Platt? How about another one? Now, Roy Lee, you're cheating, boy.
The comments you're hearing are those of Jimmy Golden.
He's afraid of losing already. You better give up, Roy Lee.
Roy Welch maintaining that side headlock. Bass takes his man over into the ropes. Good tackle by Welch. And into a pinning position. One count.
He did get it down.
Hip toss takedown, and Welch maintains control in the match.
He couldn't hold him down for the 1, 2, 3. He made a nice move, but he just didn't have the power to hold a man down. Too bad for him. I'm telling you what's going to happen. He's going to get in trouble, and he's going to make Bass mad. And Mr. Bass is liable to give him that heart punch. And boy, when he does, it's going to be bad news for Roy Lee. Yeah, you think you're doing good, don't you? You're shaking in your shoes right now, boy.
Welch maintains that side headlock on Ron Bass. Bass. Good. Welch did not relinquish the hold, and another takedown scored for Roy Welch.
Well, what can I say? He's doing good hanging on to that head, but let's see how long he lasts. Let's see how long he can last. That's the thing. That lasting power. Be able to stay in there with the best of them and keep digging. 100%. Put out more than 100%. That's Ron Bass and myself. We always put out more than 100%. That's the reason we win all the time, Charlie. Now you got it, brother.
Side suplex. Good move by the big Texan Ron Bass.
Boy, did you see that one? Dropped him right on his head, didn't he? Nice move. Nice wrestling move by Ron Bass. And thinking all the time, Charlie Platt.
Bass using those boots now, using the boots into the back.
That's legal. Using the bottom of the boot. You ain't kicking him with a toe. Forearm, legal. Keep going on him, Bass.
Being on the back of Welch. Welch fighting back.
Roy Lee's using the fist. That's illegal. That's illegal move. He's using the fist. Right, Charlie Platt?
Welch takes his man in, dives, but Bass using his head on that and getting out of the way. And here he sets it up. There's that hard punch.
That's what I've been talking about.
There is that hard punch.
It's over. It
has been pretty well perfected by Ron Bass, used very effectively in many matches in the last couple of weeks, and it scores another victory on Roy Welch, a winner of the match from Pampa, Texas at 290 pounds, Ron Bass.
Okay, so Ron Bass winning again with that very controversial heart punch. To me, that move had been banned in many territories, I think, as I recall, after being possibly responsible for some deaths in the ring. So was there anything else in the first segment of the TV show?
Yeah, there was, Matt. Charlie Platt asked Dennis Condrey and Randy Rose to join him at the set. He wanted them to watch the match that they had lost for the Southeastern belts the week before.
All right, here we go with the next video in this TV show.
The former Southeastern Tag Team Champions, Randy Rose and Dennis Condrey, to come out and join us. So quite a bit of controversy around these Southeastern Tag Team titles in the last week. Of course, we made the announcement and congratulated the Armstrongs. They're the Tag Team Champions now. Gentlemen, we have some videotape of the match in which you were involved in that
First
Southeastern
things first,
match.
Mr. Plant. You know, everybody thinks Bob and Brad Armstrong are the new Southeastern champions. But let me tell you something. Actually, they're not. They're only carrying our belts around for us. That's all they're doing. They're not the champions. You're looking at the true champions right here, brother.
Take a look at the
now
film.
roll the film.
Let's take a look at the videotape. Here, going into the arenas in the Southeastern area, this is for the Southeastern Tag Team titles. And at this point in the match, you are wearing the man's leg down. You're taking advantage of that situation.
Look at my cuz here, son. He's introducing Bob Armstrong to pain. P-A-N-E, pain.
You're going to see the weak link. Right here's the weak link. Bob Armstrong's leg. If you remember how we hog-tied the man to the fence, hog-tied him up, here's the weak link that is going to make us once again the champions, which we are now. Like my cuz said, they're just carrying the belts for us. We're letting little Bradley carry the belts around because we didn't want to get them dirty, and he's going to be carrying them until we want them back, and that's the truth.
We're just letting Brad Armstrong carry our belts around just to get that pacifier out of his mouth. That's the only thing we're doing. Right here, now Bob Armstrong has already hollered 15 times here, said, referee, I give up. Referee, I give up. Please, I give up. But what's the referee doing? Nothing. So what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and break his leg off, baby.
There's no crybaby in Charlie Pat. We're not crying. We're not crying at all, but there is a conspiracy against us, and we can fight these guys. We can fight any of the guys around here, and we can fight the conspiracy because we, once again, will be the champions. You can bet your booty on that, brother.
Well, we see the situation.
All right, let's get out of this. Let's get out of this right now. That's enough. Let's cut it out.
That was not all of the match.
That's enough right there. We saw what we wanted to see.
We showed you enough of what you want to see and what you people want to see, and we showed you the weak link, Bob Armstrong's leg, that's going to make us champions again.
Well, the champions are Bob and Brad Armstrong.
For the time being.
We'll be back with more action in just a moment.
You know what? I can't believe that Condrey and Rose bragged about all the damage they were doing to Bob Armstrong's injured leg and then forced Charlie to stop the video after Bob had tagged out. So obviously they lost the match somewhere after that tag, and they didn't want anybody to see that happen. So this has been a big piece of this TV show. All right, is it over yet?
Actually, no, it isn't, Dave. We're going to hear again from all four of those wrestlers right now.
All right, let's do that. Our producer, Brian, is going to play that interview for us. Here it is.
Action this coming Monday night, Baffle Auditorium in Birmingham, and in the minds of many of the fans, that's return Southeastern Tag Team title match. The Armstrongs, Bob and Brad, the new Southeastern Tag Champions, will be putting their titles on the line against Randy Rose and Dennis Condrey. Let's hear the comments of the challengers.
You know, because all our fans in Birmingham last week, they was all upset because we lost the belts. They were standing outside to console us when we came out. But we don't need no consoling, baby, because we are the best. In our minds, we know we're the best. Bob and Brad Armstrong, after Birmingham Monday night in Boutwell, you'll know we're the best.
Brad, certainly a different situation going into this match Monday night in Birmingham. You and your father are now the champions instead of the challengers going in this match.
That's it, Charlie. You know, I'm real proud to be Southeastern Tag Champions with Dad, and we went through just about every kind of match you can think of to get at these belts, and it's only fair that they have a rematch, and we're going to be ready to fight. I just hope they are.
Bob? You know, they're talking about fans being upset. The only people that's going to be upset in Birmingham are Condrey and Rose, and that's when we pick you up and set you on your head. You have done about everything there is to do to me. Hung me up like a side of beef, stretched my leg so long it made me 2 inches longer on my left side. Well, I don't forget that easy. I'm just like an elephant, boy, and you're going to think an elephant stepped on your face. And I want you to remember this. Remember that when you're going for that leg, there's a foot on the end of it. And when I put that foot on your fanny and this fist on your head, you'll remember Birmingham for a long, long time, boy. We went through pure devil to get those belts. And we ain't going to give them up easy. You can sit out here and rattle your jaws and flap your gums, but I'll still say this. You are the kissing cousins, no doubt about it. But in Birmingham, when it's all over, how are you going to smooch with big, fat lips? and Knuckle Junction is where we're going in Birmingham. Count on it.
This coming Monday night, Valville Auditorium, the Southeastern Tag titles of Bob and Brad Armstrong defended against former champions Randy Rose and Dennis Condrey. Also, that special bull rope match, the Tennessee stud Ron Fuller taking on Ron Bass. The Southeastern title of Ken Lucas defended against Mr. Saito. In a challenge match, Robert Fuller takes on Jimmy Golden and the U.S. Junior title. Monday night, 8 o'clock in Valville Auditorium.
Okay, wow, already 4 videos in the first TV segment. That had to be a record, in my opinion. All right, so what was coming in the next TV segment?
We're going to be seeing 2 stars that were swapping belts. So fast, it was hard to keep up with who was champion at this point. And this went on for a short period of time. Masa Saito is going to be in the ring, and Ken Lucas, the other guy that I didn't mention, was going to be at the set with Charlie.
All right, so Brian is going to show us what's next. Here it is.
Ladies and gentlemen, this event, one fall, 10-minute television time. Introducing at 270 pounds from Tuscaloosa, Alabama, Bob Owens. His opponent, 245 from Tokyo, Mr. Saito. Mr. Saito taking on Bob Owens. And joining me for the commentary on this match, gentleman who has been making quite a bit of waves in the last few weeks here in the Southeastern wrestling area. You know, titles are very important to professional wrestlers because not only prestige, they take a bigger percentage of the gates. And Ken Lucas has accomplished something that seldom you see in pro wrestling. He is now the Alabama State Heavyweight Champion as well as the Southeastern Heavyweight Champion. Congratulations, Ken.
Thank you very much, Charlie. You know, football players watch films of different teams. I'm out here watching Mr. Saito do his thing. Right now, Saito's right on top of him. He's got that leg hooked, and you know, Charlie, Mr. Saito is a very, very fine wrestler. He wrestled for the Olympic team in Japan, and you've got to give credit where credit's due. The man knows what he's doing. He's a very tough individual. Nice move by Bob Owens there, and I think not favor anybody in this type of match. Bob is a very, very outstanding athlete too, but Saito, he's a very, very, very hard man to hold on to do anything with. He's built very, very short and squat, and you can see those moves that he's doing. You've got to give credit where credit due. The man knows what he's doing. And when I watch Saito in most of these matches, Charlie, you know, I think that he's looking right directly, not at Bob Owens, but at Ken Lucas. He's thinking, I've got to get those belts back. I've got to wrestle him. I've got to take him down. You seen a fine leg trip there, and he got right behind him. And I'm telling you right now, credit where credit's due, Saito's a tough man.
Saito hooking that arm under for extra leverage. You know, he's always amazing is the different styles of wrestling this man has in that head and how many different moves he can go into right during the match.
Well, you know, the Japanese people, Charlie, in Japan, they're very dedicated people, and when they start to do something, as you can see right here, he's cross-body riding. He's got his arm hooked, he got his leg hooked. That's a very, very bad position to be into. You can't go nowhere. You haven't. You only use of one arm, and he's got that leg hooked. And Saito does know his wrestling. You've got to give credit. Like I said before, the Japanese people's very, very dedicated people. They're very, very honorable people. And like I say, Mr. Saito's not looking at Bob Owens up there. He's looking at Ken Lucas. Hurt him. I'm going to get my belt back. Hurt him. I'll hit him. I'll work on him. I'll take him down. I know I'm going to have my hands full with this man.
Snap bear takedown, thrust into the throat by Saito.
There's the form of that sleeper hold. If you can see how he does it, it's not quite like mine. But he's got it right in there, and I'm going to tell you what, it's a very, very dangerous hold. I'm afraid Bob Owens is just a bit the dust right there.
Almost a cobra move.
He's got him. He's got him.
That's it, a variation of the sleeper. And your winner from Tokyo, Japan, Mr. Saito.
Oh, that's ridiculous. Now, he should wake that man up. He could suffer permanent brain damage.
Ken Lucas going into the ring. There is a very dangerous move, the sleeper. And if a man is not brought back around quickly, brain damage could be suffered. Our thanks to Ken Lucas for coming out. Thank you, Ken, for that. We have some videotape. That's very dangerous in doing a man that way, leaving him in the ring.
It's very dangerous. Somebody could suffer permanent brain damage or have some convulsion or something. The man don't realize what he's doing, Charlie. He can put somebody out like that and not wake him up, and there can be real complications set in.
We have some videotape of a match in which you were against Mr. Saito in action for that Alabama title. If we could roll the tape, and let's take a look at this action, Ken.
You know, Charlie, right before this match started, I went out to help my friend out, Bob Armstrong, and Condrey caught me from behind, and it took me about, really, I didn't have my bearings back the whole match, and Saito is a very, like I say, a very tough man. He kept right on me, and I just couldn't seem to get myself going. I knew what I had to do, but I came back in the ring there. I'd been whacked already one time before, and I had a hard time clearing the cobwebs from my head. As you can see here, Saito coming right down whampy. And the man is a very, very tough man. Here I got a little momentum back. I thought, punch him, keep coming back. But you see, he's just like a bull. He turns, he comes, he turns, he comes. He don't quit. He keeps on you. And that's what takes a very, very, very hard man. I'm trying to get my bearings here. I'm just thinking, what am I going to do here? I've got to get my momentum going. That's the main thing, the momentum. And Saito, I got him a good shot here. You see, like I say, just like a bull. Here he comes again, and I'm hitting him with good shots right over the head. Boom again. And boy, I'll tell you what, there I got him a good one.
In other words, if you were going to make an attempt at this match, now is the time Ken Lucas had to do it.
I had to do it right here. I had him just a little bit groggy, and right here I got him. There it is, right there. I've got him right there, the sleeper hold. But you see, well, there's one, there's two, and there's three. And you'll see out of the corner over there, you see Mr. Condrey coming in there. Here he comes. Well, I had a little surprise for Condrey. I got him. Here comes Mr. Rosen there. Missed me. I hooked the sleeper right there. I've got him right around the neck, and I've got him good. Now you see my friend Jerry Stubbs coming out here to help me out. He's working on him. Saito's coming back in there. I've got Rose, and boy, let me tell you something. Randy Rose knew he was in that sleeper hole too, my friend. He's doing anything. You see him pull Saito down. He's just trying to get momentum. He wants out of that hole. And Mr. Saito made one big mistake here. You know what that was? He didn't pay attention to Ken Lucas. He watched the other man. And right here, I grabbed those tights. 1, 2, 3, and I'm the new Alabama champion.
With the Alabama title goes the Southeastern Heavyweight Championship that you already have in your possession. As we say, quite an accomplishment for a professional athlete to hold. Two very prestigious titles, the Alabama title and the Southeastern title.
Well, Charlie, these belts is not only my belts. They're the people around this vicinity that stuck beside me through the hard part and the lean part. And I like to say that Mr. Saito's made a lot of comments. He says, I want a chance at this belt. Well, gentlemen, here they are. You got the Alabama State Championship. You've got the Southeastern State Championship. I'm a man of my word. I'll defend against anybody, anytime, anywhere. And all I can do is give 100%. Thank you very much.
Great champion, Ken Lucas.
Okay, so you were not kidding, Stud. This TV show was really loaded. This segment had a Saito match live and also a Ken Lucas video winning the Alabama Championship from Saito. All right, so, was that it?
No, it wasn't, Dave. Next came an interview with both of those wrestlers.
Okay, so let's see it. Here we go.
8:30. Joining me now, a man who made quite a major accomplishment. The first time ever to hold the Southeastern Heavyweight Championship and the Alabama title. That's Ken Lucas. And Ken, earlier today we got the comments from a very irate Mr. Saito.
Japanese wrestler, #1 in the world, best Japanese wrestler, Mr. Saito. I'm scientific wrestling, I'm in good shape. Now, my sleeper for #1, Ken Lucas. You are not too good American wrestler and not too good sleeper hole. You are cheated sleeper hole man. 日本の皆さん、自分のスリーパーホールが一番です。アメリカよりも日本のが一番ということは誰でも知っていることです。
Ken?
Charlie, first of all, I'd like to thank all the people for sticking behind me 100%. And I am the first man to hold the Alabama championship and also the Southeastern Heavyweight Championship belts. Naturally, I know I've got a lot of responsibility on me, Charlie. You got guys like Condrey, Rose, Golden Bass, and now Mr. Saito's knocked the door trying to get a chance at one of these belts, which I feel very, very proud to own these belts and have them around my waist. But now I know that I've got to be out there 100%. I've got to keep my mind right and my body right because I'm going against a very, very tough man when I put these belts up, and no matter who I go against, it's going to be tough. And when you got two belts like this, you're going to have a lot of pressure, and the only thing I can do is keep myself right in the mind and the body. Like I say, both of them is working as one, and I'll do my best to defend these belts, and I'll give anybody a chance at these belts when I want a chance at the belts.
The great athlete, the Alabama State Heavyweight Champion and the Southeastern Heavyweight Champion all at once. He's Ken Lucas, and he's campaigning in the Southeastern Wrestling area.
You know what? I can't believe we have already had 6 videos, and we are just now getting to the personality profile for this TV show. All right, Stud, set it up for us. Who was on this profile?
Well, this one was my brother and I, and it was also Ron Bass and Jimmy Golden.
All right, so Brian is going to play this personality profile, and here it is.
Incident that erupted between you two, Jimmy Golden and Ron Bass, in a recent tornado tag team match in which all 4 men were in the ring at the same time.
Well, that's right, Charlie, and I ended up with one of Ron Bass's prized possession, his bull rope, and I think if you show this film, it'll pretty well explain exactly how we ended up with this bull rope. Right here, this is the very end of the match, and accidentally Robert got thrown into Jimmy, and we both covered Bass and I at the same time, and he thought he'd won, I thought I'd won, and a little difference of opinion, and I decided, well, maybe we ought to just settle the fact of who actually won that particular fall. And Bass, as you can see, goes right out of the ring, and he took a powder. He went back to the dressing room. With a little help from me, he decided to leave the ring and go back to the dressing room. This is during the 30-second rest period. And as you can see, Robert and Golden are both down at this time. And this is the end of the rest period here, and the referee's starting to count Bass and I, but as soon as I come back to the ring, he starts to count the 2 men inside the ring. Now, they have to a 10 count to get to their feet, and right in here, I'm trying to get Robert, give him some help if at all possible, and the people in the crowd, as you can see, are trying to encourage him to come on. And Bass comes back from the dressing room with that bull rope of his, and right here you can see he makes the mistake, though. He goes for the big shot with the bull rope, and he hit his good buddy Jimmy Golden, and right here he's going to go ahead and try to hit Robert with it anyhow, but I grabbed the end of it, and I gave him a shot here, and he drops that bull rope, and I give him a little taste of it. And right here, he rolled out of the ring. And that's enough. That's all I want to see right there, because Golden was counted out, incidentally, and we ended up with Bass's prized possession, his bull rope. And now he's challenged me to a bull rope match, and I was very, very happy to accept this match, Charlie Platt, because, Bass, you've been a thorn in my side for a long time. I haven't been able to take care of Golden because of you, Bass, and now I'm going to take care of you, and then I'll get to Golden.
Let's hear the comments of Ron Bass and Jimmy Golden.
Brother Bass, before we get into the bull rope, I got just a few little words I want to say. Ladies and gentlemen, you talk about bounties. Well, here's a whole lot of money. $5,000, I'm telling you, for the man. Brother Bass, Saito, Condi Rose, anybody. You don't have to be no wrestler, any fan that wants to take this $5,000, I'll give it to you if you put Robert Fuller in the hospital. I'm sick of his face. I'll most likely have to do the job and end up spending this good money, but it's a lot to think about. $5,000, right?
Big money, Jimmy. Well, I got something else I want to do this little bit. You know, right here, I'm going to show you people. This here is a little bitty bell. I'm going to call this an imitation bull rope. Ron Fuller, you're a thief. You got my rope over there somewhere. You are a thief. You stole it. But I want you to think about something. Just think just a little bit what a bull rope can do. Just look at that, my friend. Did you see that, Ron Fuller? That's your ugly head, my friend. It just chopped you to pieces, boy. And that's what's going to happen to you, Ron Fuller. What would happen if I had my bell and laid on your head, my friend? It's all going to be over. It's going to be lights out for you, Ron Fuller.
Interesting comments from Mr. Bass, but more interesting was that situation with Jimmy Golden.
Yeah, you know, I wouldn't put anything past Golden, but I'll tell you something, Golden, you can take your money and stick it back in your pocket. You probably already know that because you know me well. Your money is safe, son, because ain't nobody going to put me away, least of all you. See, one thing that I do, I got my own little training schedule I go through, and nobody puts me out of this business. I get out of it when I'm ready to. I take my rest when I want to. And Golden, you're not going to get me out of it with your $5,000.
And you have Mr. Bass very upset about that bull rope.
That's right. He's very upset about his bull rope here. You know, Charlie, when we lived on the farm there in Loxley, Alabama, we had a lot of cows around. And we had one mean old bull. He made a whole lot of noise. And when I was young, I was scared of him. And the old man finally said, put him in the chute there and ride him. And he took one of these bull ropes and he put it around him, and I rode that bull. And I tell you what, after I rode him the first time, I rode him every time. And it got to where I could get on his back and pleasure ride him around, you know. And Ron Bass, that's what I'm going to do with you and your bull rope. I'm going to try to put this around you. It may not fit,
But if it does, I'm going to put it around your back, and I'm going to get on you, Ron Bass, and I'm going to conquer you just like that big bull on the ranch. I'm going to ride you, son, till your tongue is dragging the ground, and you'll get your bull rope back, but when I'm through riding, you'll get the bull rope.
Comments of Ron Robert Fuller, also heard from Ron Bass and Jimmy Golden, and that's our personality profile for today.
Okay, so that profile not only had the four of you, but it had the video that showed how you got your hands on Ron Bass's bull rope. This TV show has already been absolutely remarkable. All right, Stud, what's next?
Well, Stan Lane, man, who was a young star that was really getting himself together, man. He was really, really learning how to draw money. And Jerry Stubbs, someone about to take his ability to the next level.
Oh, no doubt about it. All right, so Brian is going to set it up with these two upcoming stars.
Joining me now at the desk, the United States Junior Heavyweight Champion, Stan Lane, who has been campaigning in this area for quite some time, very successful with this United States Junior Heavyweight Championship. And recently, your toughest competitor in the area and challenging you for that title has been Jerry Stubbs.
Charlie Platt, Jerry Stubbs has been following all over the country for the past month and a half. He's been granted the commissioner, the promotion, board and title shot with me. So I put my belt up on numerous occasions, and the guy never once, not even once, tied me or pinned my shoulders to the mat for the 1-2-3 count. So as far as I'm concerned, Charlie Platt and Jerry Stubbs, it's all over for you. You're through. You had your chance. I've got a long list of challengers and competitors, and it's my prerogative who I want to choose for this title shot. And Jerry Stubbs on the bottom of the list behind Burhead Jones and Rodrigo Fernandez as far as I'm concerned.
And speaking of Jerry Stubbs and his quest for the U.S. Junior title in which he held, let's take a look at some videotape of a match recently here in the southeastern area, you against Stubbs.
Right there's a classic example of how the flow of the match has been going ever since I signed with Jerry Stubbs. Jerry Stubbs lying flat on his back in a prone position, and me on top of him slapping his face. Slapping his half-bald head right there, just humiliating the guy, degrading him. I understand his wife left him. He's been humiliated so much. He's lost face. I understand he's going to leave the area. Brad Armstrong tried.
He doesn't seem at this point that he's being disgraced too much. He seems to have very well controlled this point in the match.
Me being a scientific wrestler, Charlie Platt, and a champion, I might add, I think it's a heck of a disgrace to have to use a closed fist to fight your way back up. Now the guy's slapping me, but the guy got off his back because he used an illegal closed fist. He should have been disqualified right there. My hand should have been raised in victory.
And Stubbs taking Lane up once again.
And one more time in the illegal closed fist. Now, ladies and gentlemen, watch your TV screen closely all across the nation right now. One more time, an illegal, that's 3 or 4 or 5. The referee finally warns him. The referee should have disqualified the guy right there. There is no way under the sun Jerry Stubbs could beat me in a scientific wrestling match. The guy has to use illegal tactics like a closed fist, the point of the elbow, and the point of the boot.
And you are not going to be defending your title against this man anymore, is according to what you've said.
Right there you saw what they call in Japan a yokogiri, which is Japanese for a sidekick. Right to the sternum, the guy's beaten right now. And probably what's running through Jerry Stubbs' mind is I'll dump him over the top rope to save myself. Right here, he gets my hair and dumps me over the top rope just to save face. The guy knew he was beat. And all the people in the studio,
running him out of the top rope
I was throwing the guy in for a backdrop, Charlie Platt. He grabbed my hair, my long blonde locks, and he threw me over the top rope right there on the TV. Everybody saw it, and you can't deny it.
Comments of Stan Lane, who we'll be seeing in action in just a moment against Mr. Olympia.
You know, I'm really pleased about this match. Let me just make a quick comment right here. I'm sick of guys like Brad Armstrong and Jerry Stubbs, no-talent guys. I complained to the state athletic commissioner. I said, get me a guy in here with some talent. Somebody that's maybe close to the caliber of me. They got a guy who was placed in the bronze medal in the 1968 Olympics. He went to the finals. He lost to Bob Felix in the finals. This guy's an Olympic champion, and I'm looking forward to getting in the ring right now on national TV and defending my U.S. Junior Championship belt against a guy who is a former Olympic champion. I can't wait.
Okay, the comments of Stan Lane, and he'll be in action momentarily against Mr. Olympia. Let's go into the ring right now as we get ready for this match. It will be a one-fall with a 15-minute television time limit. Introducing at 220 pounds from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, the United States Junior Heavyweight Champion, Stan Lane. His opponent at 225 pounds from parts unknown, Mr. Olympia. Olympia taking on Stan Lane here on our television.
What kind of joke is this? I know that's Jerry Stubbs, the pea-headed beer gut goop. You can't fool me.
Coming out at our broadcast desk, Stan Lane and Mr. Olympia. Stan Lane saying it's Stubbs, no matter who it is, he's signed to wrestle Mr. Olympia for the pin. 2 count. Arm drag takedown by this masked man, Mr. Olympia. Bars the arm of Stan Lane, the U.S. Junior Heavyweight Champion. Lane irate, screaming over our way, this is Jerry Stubbs. And as we said before, no matter who it is, he is signed to wrestle Mr. Olympia, and that is exactly who he's in action against right now. Twisted drag by Mr. Olympia. Maintaining that arm bar on Stan Lane. And tighter. Stan Lane really upset about this situation. I don't know. And Mr. Olympia pulls Lane back in the ring. Good forearm connection, legal move. Dropping that elbow. Arm twist. Takes Lane down to his knees. Good reversal by Mr. Olympia for the takedown. Stan Lane really upset about this situation. Screaming his complaints out to us, wanting us to contact the president of the National Wrestling Alliance. He says he has a complaint. The man under that mask is Jerry Stubbs, so he says. And once again, it matters not who's under that mask. He is signed to wrestle Mr. Olympia, and that's exactly what he's doing. Takes his man into the ropes. Good move. Good arm drag takedown, back with that arm bar. Earlier in the program, I'd like to remind you, coming in 2 weeks to Southeastern Championship Wrestling. One of the great professional wrestlers, black superstar, the Candyman Ray Candy, will be in action here in the Southeastern Wrestling area. Good move by Lane. Fireman carry takedown, but it's Mr. Olympia holding on to that arm bar. Putting that knee in for the leverage. Lane having his problems with Mr. Olympia. Puts that leg in, possibly going for a trip, but maintains his balance, comes up over on the ropes. They call for the break. Lane trying to get that shot in. Good move by Lane. Lane crashing down with the knee. With the leg, we should say. Lane now, with the use of the fist that he was talking about only a few minutes ago, takes his man into that turnbuckle. Lane gaining momentum in this match with the backbreaker. Slapping Mr. Olympia in the face. Mr. Olympia fires back with a right connection and a left. Knee lift by Lane for the second time. Snapmare takedown and into those head scissors. You know, Stan Lane comes out and very arrogant young man about his capabilities in that ring, and talks of how great he is, but you've got to give him credit. He's an outstanding athlete. He has been successful in holding that U.S. Junior title for some time now. Connection by Mr. Olympia. And there you see Stan Lane throwing Mr. Olympia over the top rope. Disqualification, over the top rope, disqualification. He's going for the mask. Mr. Olympia fighting back in the ring. Hard right. He might have made a mistake by going for that mask, but good drop kick, and Lane scoots out of the ring. Your winner under disqualification over the top rope from parts unknown, Mr. Olympia. Coming up on Southeastern Championship Wrestling, we'll see Mr. Saito in action. Our television main event, Ron Fuller against Jimmy Golden, and our personality profile is coming up next.
Hey, that's okay. Look, you might have got by with that with Jerry Stubbs, but I got no disqualification matches all over, Stan, so that belt don't belong to me.
Okay, so that was Mr. Olympia's debut in not just Southeastern, but in all of wrestling all over the world. I'll tell you, this TV show has a little bit of everything in it. We've seen it all, and I assume we are now going to see an interview with these two competitors.
Actually, Dave, better than that. It's going to be with 4 of them.
All right, let's see it. Brian's going to let it roll. Here we go.
The bull rope match, Ron Fuller takes on Ron Bass. The return Southeastern Tag Team title match, Ken Lucas will defend his Southeastern Heavyweight Championship against Mr. Saito. And for the U.S. Junior title, it will be no disqualification as Stan Lane takes on Mr. Olympia. Let's hear the comments of Mr. Olympia and Ken Lucas.
Mr. Saito, I've got all the respect in the world for you. One thing I've learned to do in this profession is never sell a man short. But right now, I'm in the driver's seat, and I'm a Southeastern Heavyweight Champion and also the Alabama Champion. You wanted a chance at this belt, I've got it right here. And all you have to do is come to Birmingham to show up and come and get it. You've made a lot of comments about me, about my sleeper hold, how much yours is better. Let's just find out and see what happens, my man. And all I say is you come and face me head on, and if you take the belt, you're the better man, but I don't believe you can do it.
You know, Stan Lane, I got something. Mr. Olympia has something that Jerry Stubbs couldn't get. That's a match with you with a no disqualification, and that's happening in Boutwell Auditorium. So you know that's all over, Stan Lane. That's all I need. Jerry Stubbs told me if I could get a no disqualification match, I could be the champion.
Mr. Saito, the Southeastern title of Ken Lucas, Monday night.
Puny American wrestler Ken Lucas, you are cheating me. I stole my belt. Alabama champion, take my belt. I'm so hot. I so mean to you. Now, I challenge you, Ken Lucas. I'm a strong sleeper hole man. American sleeper hole, not too good. Japanese one, more strong, more power.
Hi. Mr. Olympia, this coming Monday night.
I don't know who Jerry Stubbs is trying to fool. The closest he ever came to Olympia was a grammar school field day back in 1953. Well, Jerry Stubbs, I'm going to take that sock off your head and stuff it in your mouth and pin your shoulders 1, 2, 3 like I've done so many times before.
Monday night in Boutwell Auditorium.
All right, Ron, this TV show has been remarkable. And now here comes the Tennessee stud Ron Fuller versus Jimmy Golden. That's still to come at least. And Brian is going to play that match for us. Here we go.
Our television main event, ladies and gentlemen. 1 fall TV time remaining. Introducing at 270 from the volunteer state of Tennessee, the Tennessee stud Ron Fuller. His opponent at 230 pounds, Montgomery, Alabama, Jimmy Golden. Jimmy Golden taking on Ron Fuller, television main event, time remaining. And what has not been said about the ongoing feud between these two, Golden and Fuller. Golden going for a counter on the ropes. Fuller does the same, picks his man up high, atomic drop. And Golden hits the floor. A main event in any arena in the country. Ron Fuller against Jimmy Golden. And the big news is negotiations have been completed, plans finalized. Coming up in the southeastern area, $100,000 to be given away in elimination matches in a 1-week period all throughout the southeastern area. Golden takes his man in, moves out of the way, and Golden puts that knee into the turnbuckle. Fuller quickly sweeps the leg, goes for the weak point, applying the pressure, spinning toe hold. Golden kicks his man off with the use of the boot, and Fuller once again sweeps that leg, putting the knee in. Fuller working on that leg of Jimmy Golden. Golden over on the ropes and brings him up high. Fuller with the toe hold. This center family feud continues between Jimmy Golden and the Fuller family. Ron Fuller bringing that pressure down, using the weight in, and there you see Golden trying to take that shortcut, going for the hair. Forearm smash by Ron Fuller puts Golden back down on the canvas. And again, Golden trying to find some means of escape, but Fuller maintains that toe hold, pulls the other leg around, and locks it in. Golden raking across the eye. Now Golden out, pounding away at Fuller. Thumb into the throat by Jimmy Golden. And again. Takes Fuller head first into the turnbuckle. Golden now choking, double choke. Ron Fuller, good right to the side of the head, and again. Fuller gaining momentum. Elbow to the top of the head. And the feud continues between Ron Fuller and Jimmy Golden. And both men are down. Wait a minute. There's Ron Bass, that bull rope, coming on the scene once again. Ron Bass taking advantage of that situation. Robert Fuller trying to get in the ring. Golden. He sweeps the leg. Ron Bass working on Ron Fuller with that bull rope. He has been lacerated. Now the bull rope being used now on Robert Fuller. Golden and Bass. And let's take a break, see if we can restore things in the TV studio. We'll be right back.
All right, without a doubt, a wild ending to a great TV show. I'm almost afraid to ask, was that the end of it?
Actually, I almost hate to say it, Dave. No, it wasn't, man. As Charlie was trying to close out the show, Robert goes back out to the set, and he has a few things he'd like to say about what had just happened with both Golden and Ron Bass, and then I got the opportunity to go out right before the close, and I had something to say myself.
Okay. All right. So I can't wait to hear that after everything that had just happened to you. All right. So Brian is going to play this one. This is the last video, and it's a good one.
We just saw that from the back, the use of the bull rope by Ron Bass. He'll have his chance very shortly to use that bull rope in a match with Ron Fuller. And Jimmy Golden will be taking on Robert Fuller in a special challenge match. Let's hear the comments right quick now from Ron Bass and Jimmy Golden.
Brother, we just took care of business, didn't we, old brother Ron Fuller? And here is some more business I got to lay out to you people. Here is $5,000, brother, a whole lot of money to Mr. Bass here, to Mr. Saito, to Mr. Condry or Rose, anybody. You don't have to be no wrestler. I'm talking about anybody that will take Robert Fuller and put him in a hospital. I'm tired of looking at his ugly face. A lot of cash, baby. If they don't get the job done, I'm most likely to do it, and I'll probably be spending this money. But here it is. It's a lot to think about.
Ron Fuller, you've got my big bull rope, my friend. Now, you just felt what a little bitty bell can do to you. You felt the pain right there, my friend, busted wide open. Now, what do you think's going to happen when I get the big bell, my rope myself, Ron Fuller? It's going to hurt you, my friend. We're going to carve a state of Texas on your head, boy.
Robert's joined us now, Robert.
Well, I just got a little news for you, Jimmy Golden. You listen to me very carefully over there, boy. You ain't going to have to wait too long to get your hands on me, because the first thing I want to do when I get to the building is slap them shoes on and go right in the ring with you, son. Do you hear me, Jimmy Golden? I'm shouting real loud so you can get it in your ears, because I'm going to take that $5,000 and I got a place for it, son, and I'm going to put it there. A lot of people try to hurt this body, Charlie Platt, but nobody's put me out of this thing. I've gone when I wanted to go and come when I wanted to. He just say, Ron Bass, I hope you're watching this, boy. I got your bull rope, and I'm going to give it to you, son. You can bank on that. And ain't but one person that can be bleeding when this one's over, and it ain't going to be me, man. It's going to be you, Bass. I'm going to kick your butt. I'm going to play rope-a-dope, because you the dope, and I got the rope. And I'm going to take care of you and the bull rope, boy. You're going to be mooing and mowing. I'm going to make believe you're a heifer tonight.
That was one of the best Southeastern TV shows I think I've ever seen. I'm so glad that you've been able to find so many of these classic TV shows from the 1980s, and we can make them available to fans, especially on the Tennessee Stud Streaming.com channel. All right, so what happened in the arenas the following week, Stud?
Well, Brad Armstrong and Dennis Condry, they wrestled to a 15-minute time limit match, which was a draw, in that first challenge match of that night. And obviously, they were both going to be coming back for the tag match. The United States Junior Heavyweight Championship match, with no disqualification rules, this match was, had Mr. Olympia. And Mr. Olympia, in his first match under the hood, beat Stan Lane for his first ever championship belt. Neither Jimmy Golden nor Robert won Jimmy Golden's $5,000 challenge match for Jimmy's money. So both men got disqualified in that match. Masa Saito won the Southeastern belt from Ken Lucas 1 week after Lucas had won the belt from Saito. And so Ron Bass and Tennessee Stud, Ron Fuller, had a very extremely bloody match. All those bull rope matches were, man. And this one ended up with Masa Saito, Jimmy Golden, and Robert all in the ring before the match was stopped. And there was going to be Jimmy Golden's $5,000 bounty tag match coming the next week. And the Stud and Robert were going to end up wrestling Ron Bass and Masa Saito. And Golden's going to be sitting in their corner. Then the Southeastern Tag Championship match ended in a disqualification, Condry and Rose, with Armstrongs getting their hands in the air.
All right, what a great Studcast this has been from beginning to end. It has to be one of the best of all time. All right, where are we riding next week, Stud?
Well, International Sports Incorporated had stepped forward, and they had set up a series of 16-man elimination matches, and they were going to give away over $100,000 in 13 nights.
Wow.
Which was and a huge trophy in these elimination matches, as well as all that money to be given to the winner. And it was a fully loaded card before they even got down to these 16-man elimination matches.
Well, I tell you what, it definitely sounds like a big week for a lot of different wrestlers. Those big elimination matches usually ended up with many different guys winning. Is there anything else you wanna say as we wrap it up today, Stud?
Well, I'd like to thank everyone for your compliments, all the compliments I got about the Buddy Fuller-Mario Galento match from that last Studcast, and I hope that you're going to enjoy this one once you've heard it. And thanks everybody for your support. Please take care of yourselves and others, and may God bless us all.
For Ron Fuller in the Great Smoky Mountains of Tennessee, I'm David Summers saying thank you for listening. Find me at davidsummersproductions@gmail.com. This Studcast is a David Summers production for Tennessee Stud LLC.
Thanks for joining us today for this historic Studcast. The true story continues next week. So full Nelson your friends and point them in our direction for another ride with the Tennessee Stud.
1, 2, 3.
This is David Summers saying so long from the Great Smoky Mountains.